This video is on intellectual intuition. Okay, the reason for intellectual intuition, because in the future, the intelligence quotient test that you guys have now is obsolete. The intelligence quotient only tests for things like mathematics, geometry, and a little bit of spatial perception. It doesn't take into account every area of intelligence that people can actually learn in, which also the definition in the future of intelligence seems like it takes on something different. It's not really dictionary-wise different, but if you can tie your shoes, basically, you're intelligent. If you can learn to do that, you can learn to do anything. And the intelligence quotient suggests that there's a way to put a number to your intelligence level. But if you study and learn a little bit more, you can change your intelligence quotient to a different number, which intelligence by definition doesn't change. It's just the ability to learn and apply what you've learned. So really the IQ test is obsolete. So they call it intellectual intuition, and it encompasses a broader range of things. Now, let me start by saying that the ages of 3 to 5, a lot of people say by the age of 5 that they know what they want to be when they grow up. So that's why they're tested by the age of 3 to 5. I won't get it into very deeply at all, but by 3, children are articulating almost as well as their teenage counterparts. By the age of 3, a lot of them, they start out with the signing type of language that you can learn as an infant to communicate with parents. It's widely used in the future. In fact, it's the very first thing. Everybody does it. Finger and hand signs are always used to start with. It's just a natural part of life back then. And by 3 to 5, they start testing around the age of 3, and you have to have it done by the age of 5. That's the cutoff time. So you have to schedule when to have your children do their tests. And what this is going to do is intuitively, what does this child gravitate towards and have a natural intellectual ability for? That's where the aptitude tests come in all areas. We're talking art, mathematics, science, engineering, what else is there? Languages, other forms of communication, electronics, everything. I mean, it encompasses almost even personality aptitude tests and relational things like that, how a child would naturally relate. What this does is the intellectual intuition testing prepares you and gives you an idea of what children, and gives you yourself, as you're growing up, an idea of what job you might best be suited for. It helps in your personal life, what personal things like hobbies, and what people you might best associate with or enjoy most associating with, and then recreation, what things based on results of your tests, what things you most likely would be gravitate towards as far as intellectual stimulation would go. What recreational things would fit that? Intuitively, people will gravitate towards different things. Like a child, parents may say, "Okay, my child seems to love photography, so we knew that she was going to grow up to be a photographer because all she seemed to talk about was photography once she found out what a camera was." Okay. So then there's the tests. The tests themselves are not so much what the child does as how the child interacts with the environment they're being tested in. On different walls in a room, you might have different aspects of a single aptitude test. Say it's art. And on different walls, there's different activities concerning art. There's, on the walls themselves, there's tables underneath, but on the walls, there are pictorial instructions. You can actually see somebody doing something. And children, most often, are the easiest ones to train to imitate someone. In fact, that's how they learn, right, from their parents, by the imitation. So what they see on the wall is somebody doing something, and the items they're doing that something within the pictorial is like on panels, like you'd see in a comic book without any words. You just see from panel to panel somebody picking up something and doing something with it. One wall, it might have somebody picking up a brush, dipping it in colors, and painting something. And so below that on the table is brushes, paints, things like that. Another wall might have somebody doing something with a like a model, or working with ceramics, or working with what else do they do? Clay, Play-Doh, almost like what you guys call it today. Making things with different aspects of art. There's little pieces that you can put together to make a scene out with using figurines. You can make figurines under another, things like that. I don't remember exactly, but something along that line. See, if it was like electronics, they would have, and these are, the level of this is a very basic level. It's not something really, really intricate that you'd expect an adult to have a hard time doing. It's just really, really just the basics of the idea of art. So a painting might just be the head of a dog, and maybe the front of the face and the ears, and that's it. You know, or maybe something, you know, but the thing is, the child, when they're brought in, the interaction with the room, they are walked around the room, and they get to look at everything. They're even told, look around the room and see what you'd like to play with first. We'd like you to play with everything if you can, to do all the little activities, or at least try them, and they see what the child goes to first. See, the child gets the window shop, as you guys would call it, the room, when they walk in. And this tells them, by interaction, what this child is drawn to most about art, or about the different tables set up with different types of electronics activities. Another table, and walls rather, and tables in a room set up with different types of science, basic science experiments. We're talking about just like a magnet and a piece of copper wire for, you know, like the test to see how, you know, electricity would move. And there's little leads that you plug on, that are already plugged on the end of the copper wire, and a pictorial drawing showing somebody just picking up the magnet and moving it across the copper wire. I mean, that's the sum total of that activity. So these are very basic tests, basic. We're talking about children from 3 to 5. Okay, they can communicate fairly well, but still, they're children. They want to play. Their attention span doesn't change. As advanced as people may become. And so anyway, the interaction is the most important thing. Gives the testing authorities the idea of not only what areas the child is most drawn to, but what areas they naturally would excel at, because they pick up things, but which ones did they pick up the quickest? Which ones did they spend the most time with in different areas? Things like that. So that's what it tells us, the interaction. So you get an idea of what this child is like and what intuitively they have aptitudes for.